Hey guys, so as you can tell behind me, I've been doing a ton of work on the finish for the camper. I know it still looks like crap, but this is the result of about 3 days worth of sanding and using more resin and filler, trying to get the body smooth and get it ready for paint. I wasn't sure if I was going to film any of this just because the process of any kind of body work is just so messy. I have dust all over all of my tools, everything in the garage here, and it's just a messy, horrible process that just takes a lot of time. So it's really hard to take a step back and take off the respirator, clean my hands, clean my face a little bit, get the dust out of my hair, just to take a little segment. So I haven't. Today was day 3 of working pretty much straight on the camper. So my process so far has been, since the camper was wrapped in fiberglass, I sanded everything down with my 6-inch DA air sander and 80 grit sandpaper. Then I just marked out with a marker where my low spots were, where the imperfections were, and I basically did a skim coat with some additive that I'll show you here in a second over the whole camper pretty much. And then I sanded again the whole camper. Then I went back again to look and see where the imperfections were and added more filler to many different spots and then sanded that all down. Today, this morning, all of the brown stuff that you see on the camper is another layer of more resin and filler. It's been going pretty good. It's just really time consuming, and I've never done anything like this before. I've never done any kind of body work, and it sucks. I hope I don't have to do this again, because this is a lot. And unfortunately, I'm on a really tight timeline, and I've only had a couple days to get this done. And that's another reason why I haven't stopped to film, just because I've had to get out here and bust my butt to get it done. So I found a painter. It's a local guy. He really knows his stuff. I'm sure he's gonna do a great job. And he is a very busy guy, takes a lot of jobs. And the only time he had available to do it was July 3rd and 4th. So he said he can bang the whole thing out in those 2 days, but I have to get it to him, which is just right down the road, so that's no problem. But I have to get it to him in a condition that he can just get in there and spray it. He's gonna do a rough or a sand, I think he said 800 grit sandpaper, something like that, just before he paints. I don't know all the ins and outs of painting and the process, but I think he said something about a epoxy primer, and then we're going with white paint. It's gonna be a white, I think a white gloss paint, I think is what he said. So yeah, I've been really busy trying to get it all done and get it ready for him, and I just have a few days. This is my little makeshift workbench, my table saw, and this has all of my supplies, everything I've been using the last few days. Good old Harbor Freight gloves and the paint brushes. Those are required anytime you work with resin. And then I have this hardener and epoxy from Tap Plastics, which is a company in California that I used for pretty much all of the supplies. But I switched over to West Systems for some of these additives just because shipping from California to here was getting really expensive. They don't include free shipping or anything. They're not Amazon. So unfortunately, it was getting really expensive. So I found a local place that does sell West Systems additives and resin. I have a couple different things that I used. Oh, I threw the other one away already. I had the 406 and the 403, and this is the 407. I'm sure there's experts out there that could have told me this when I started, or maybe has some different opinions on the stuff, but it's been kind of a learning experience with how these additives really change the resin, the mixture. So 406, I can tell you, added more like a glossy, really solid surface. I can kind of show you. This side was 406, so I've sanded this down a ton, so it's smooth, but it's really hard, and it's clear, and it's just really hard to sand. So it's not made to sand it down. They have a chart in the back that I don't fully understand. I have to look at the descriptions online, but you can see the highlighted green part right here is all the things that this one specifically is good at. So it worked out okay. Unfortunately, that was the only container they had, and I needed to do more. So I bought the 403, which is this one right next to it. Let's get focus. So the 403 is the other one that I had, and it's right next to it. So that I thought was fine. Like, it's close enough, the star-wise on their little chart here. But it was a very different product. So that one had, I guess what you'd call like micro balloons, and it left the surface, let me see if I could find an example, really chunky. So it required a ton of sanding. So you can see all of this right here. This is because it came out like just clumps of little balls. I did mix it, but it just came out really clumpy. So the brown is the second, this is the last layer that I'll show you, but the finish, the reason that's all pitted like that is because of this 403. And I used the 403 down this whole side, but it's all sanded, so I guess you can kind of see if I get that in focus. You can see all those little white specks, those white spots. It required a ton of sanding just to get it to that point. So I didn't really like that product much at all. I don't think I would recommend that. I don't see a use for it in this build. I'm not even sure where you would need it. But this stuff has worked really well, and I wish I saw this first. This stuff is in this last column here, and this is good for fairing, which I had to look up the definition of, and that's basically filling. So if you're going to be filling spots or dents on fiberglass or just holes and stuff like that, then that's what you need. And that's what all this brown color is, all of this. Unfortunately, with that stuff, I couldn't get it thick enough to not run. So you can still see some spots on here that I'm gonna have to do another sand down and do another layer. So that really sucks. So what I started doing was mixing the 407 with the 406 to get me a little bit more of a, like, I guess like a peanut butter texture that I could put it up there and have it stay there. It required a lot of this additive. So I used both of those two containers really quick. And today was Sunday. So if I ordered some of the stuff online, it probably wouldn't get here till Wednesday. I need to drop this off Wednesday afternoon. So that wouldn't leave me enough time. So the local shop that I purchased these two from, I think they maybe have, no, they had one more of those, the 407, I believe. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to have to call around to a bunch of different boat shops, all in central New York, to see if I can get another couple containers of this, or I'm going to be pretty screwed. I want to try to get this finish as nice as possible. I know it's not going to be perfect because this is my first time ever doing this, and I just wanted to get it to the point where I'm not going to be totally embarrassed by the finish. But that means tomorrow morning, I'm going to have to call around, track down some more of that additive, and then take a drive somewhere in central New York to pick it up. All right, so I guess I'll just walk around and show you this mess that I'm dealing with. This curve right here is, on both sides, is challenging for obvious reasons, but I'm getting it pretty smooth. It's coming out okay. That's getting pretty smooth. Obviously it's covered in dust, but that's pretty smooth. So it's getting there. I got the seal of approval from the guy who's painting it. He came by to give me my report card earlier today, and he said it's going good. And I guess it looks like I'm doing the right thing. All right, I guess I'll have to leave it there for now. I will update you guys as more happens. It's like 11 o'clock at night here, so I just thought I'd come out here and throw something together and just get you guys up to speed on what I have going on. But I'll add some more segments as everything develops. Tomorrow's going to be a long day of sanding and prepping and driving, trying to find supplies. Hey guys, so today's the end of day 4. I just finished sanding for the fourth day in a row. And I got a few more patches, a few more spots to still build up before I can even really think about getting this thing smooth enough for a good finish. And I'm just really worried after all this work, it's gonna look like crap. And it probably will, unfortunately. But I'm out here cranking at it. I just hosed off myself, my hair, my face, because just, of course, dust gets absolutely everywhere. I think I have it to a pretty good point. It is looking pretty good. Being my first time, I have no idea what to expect when this is all done. But what I'm about to do tonight before I call it quits is add a bunch more epoxy resin with the fillers. I'm still trying to build up some of the spots that are kind of messed up, and also in the door, the walls right there, I still have to smooth that out. So there's still a lot. And I don't remember if I mentioned this in the last clip, but when my paint guy was here just checking out my work and giving me pointers, he said normally stuff like this would take somebody weeks or months if it's just like a little garage project you have going on. And I'm trying to get this whole thing done in a matter of days. And it's just really because he was highly recommended. He sounds like he really knows what he's doing, and he had very limited availability. If I wasn't able to get the camper to him on the 3rd, then he wasn't going to be able to do it the rest of the year. So yeah, I'm kind of in a crunch here. Also, this morning, I did have to go out and purchase more of this stuff. Thank God that I found some more. I was calling all over the place trying to find some more of that additive product, because at this point, even with Amazon, there is no way I would have been able to get it here in time. It would have showed up on probably Wednesday. Today is Monday, so it just really wouldn't have worked out. So luckily I found a place in Skinny Atlas, a boat place, that had 2 of each. 2 of the 406 and 2 of the 407, and that should be enough. So I am so thankful that I found that stuff. And I found a couple other places that had like 1, and then there was another place that had 2, but they were an hour in opposite directions. And I got this from Skinny Atlas, which is about 50 minutes away each way. So yeah, good things. I also have a cool little unboxing right down there that I'm going to open up. I'll see if I can get the camera set up. It's something really special that I'm pretty excited about, and I'll show you guys here in a second. All right, I'm going to slice this thing open. Pretty crazy to find this. I hadn't really been looking too hard, but yeah, this is pretty neat. Holy shit, it's heavy. Oh. I bought a Chatamo plug. Holy crap, this thing's freaking heavy. I had this bright idea that I could make a Chatamo extension cable for my road trips, just in case things get messed up and there's somebody blocking the charging station. So I found this guy on eBay and picked it up. Oh, that's nice. And it was brand new. I don't remember why they were selling it. I think they just took apart a machine. A little kind of crazy to make this into an extension cable. I actually thought it was going to be a lot lighter and smaller. But if I gotta lug this thing around, oh man, that's gonna kill my range, lugging this thing around. Anyways, you guys are here for the finish. You want to see what's going on with the camper, but I thought that was pretty neat, and I thought I'd show you guys. So yeah, now I'll just go back and work on the camper. All right, so it's about 11 o'clock at night. I just finished the latest coat, and I think it went on really well. There's a lot of spots that I think smoothed out really nicely. The resin material really seemed to work well today. I don't know if it's just the slightly cooler temperatures, but it was really runny before in the hot temperatures. Oh yeah, by the way, I've been doing this. We've been having a bit of a heat wave.
and it's been mid 80s for about a week now. And I won't complain because it's better than rain, but it's been freaking hot. So yeah, I think it just behaved better because of the temperature. In here right now, it's probably about 75. It was definitely a little cooler today. But I basically just did a skim coat on a lot of these areas, and I just had a marker and I just layered it on there. Like, that's starting to look pretty smooth. I skipped the front because I have plans that maybe I'll modify that in the future. Then I caked it on there a little bit. You can see some wavy lines that'll sand out. This ridge right here is actually the high point anyway, so that'll get sanded out. So this side was the worst side because I used the, I forget the type, it was 403, which was the micro beads. So this side was the worst because it just, man, like I said in the previous clip, it was just really hard to sand down and even get smooth at all. So this side has a little bit more attention. And the back side, thankfully, was just basically a skim coat. It was pretty easy. And it looks, I know, like shit right now, but I think it'll sand and come out nice. And then this top, I didn't give much attention. I have this sanded pretty smooth, but it could get a little bit more. And then up there is pretty smooth, but it has some spots that could be sanded. But really, my main focus right now, because I'm on such a time crunch, is that I want to make sure I get the sides as nice as possible, because that's what people are going to see a lot of. And then these are raised areas because the light switches were just slightly thicker than the wall. But I think I have that to a point. You can see a little ridge there, but I think I have it to a point where it's looking pretty good. I might have to do one more coat tomorrow. Today is Monday, tomorrow is Tuesday. So I do have time to sand this down, check for any spots that I might have to touch up, and then sand again, and I should be able to still get it to him in time. But yeah, that's where I'm at. We'll have to see how it looks tomorrow.
Hey guys, it's midday on day 5. We're getting super close. It has to go to the painter tomorrow afternoon. I just got done sanding everything with 120 grit, and I noticed a few more spots that really needed to be filled and build up a little bit. So I just added that to the last, hopefully the last like 20 spots, because there really isn't time to add any more after that. So once this is hardened, it'll probably be this evening. I'll come back out here, do another 120 grit all the way around the whole thing, check it all out. Hopefully it's good, because I really don't have time to do much else. Then after 120 grit, I have 320, and then I'll go to 400. And if I have time, I have 600 grit that I'll do, but I'm not sure I'll get there. Not sure I'll have time. But I think it's looking pretty good. There's definitely flaws. It's, like I've said before, it's my first time, and as long as it looks halfway decent at this point, I'll be happy. So I really hope it doesn't look like total crap. I mean, it can't look any worse, right? So I'll spin the camera around. I'll walk you around it just in case you're curious, and you can see just how it looks right now.
So here we are. The top corners have been a focal point because obviously a lot of people are going to be looking at that crazy curve. So I've been really trying to work that out, make it smooth. Hopefully this last layer will do it. And there's a couple spots down here around the edges I build up a little bit more, but it's looking pretty good. I tried to direct a lot of my attention to the sides because that's what people are going to see. I might have said that already, I don't remember. This looks fine. It's sanded, it's pretty smooth. And then the top, I didn't get to again. I think at some point I could possibly put a solar panel here and it would cover up a lot of these blemishes, but I think I'm just gonna leave this. It's not quite as smooth as the rest. And all this was looking pretty good. Had to build up a little bit more here. And I built up this corner. Like these had a lot of You can see some low spots, so I filled that up a little bit more. And then I've got the other side. This side, the fiberglass was a little bit better. I did a better job on this side. And then the front, I'm not giving a lot of attention either because I mentioned in a previous video that I hope at some point to get a Tesla truck. Really would love to have one. So I'm gonna have to reshape the whole front end because right now the outline is the same shape as the RAV4 right there. So at some point, I'm going to have to taper this in, kind of like a nose cone, and I'll have to match the back side of a Tesla truck, a truck bed, hopefully. So this isn't going to look quite as good. I didn't do as good of a skimming job when I put all this on here. So this will not look the greatest. But there's also going to be a radiator here. There's going to be a tire there. So really, it's just this top part that's going to be exposed, and I hope to refinish that at some point anyway. All right, so I guess that's it for now. I'm going to go shower, get some lunch, and then probably come back out here in about 4 to 6 hours.
Welcome back. So it's still day 5. I took a break around noon once I finished with that last clip and that last layer. I had to let that cure, so now I'm back, and I just went all over the entire trailer and sanded it with 120 grit paper. I think it looks pretty good. I know with Bodywork, you can't see all the blemishes until it's painted. I want to be optimistic, but yeah, who knows? I don't know. I don't know how good this is going to turn out. So here we are, end of day 5, and I'm probably going to go over it with, what I have, 320 next? Yeah, so I've got 320 next. I'm going to go over the whole thing with that, and then probably call it quits for the night. All right, I've been out here all morning sanding. This is the last day. It's got to go to the paint shop today in about, 4 hours. Yeah, 4.5 hours. So everything's been sanded in 400 grit, but unfortunately I found a few spots that I absolutely had to patch. So I had to add some epoxy resin, and that's still curing. So I have to make a little road trip quickly, but when I come back, I'm hoping to sand those with 400 grit and then do 600 grit on the rest of it. It's timing is really crazy. Hopefully it all comes out. Hopefully it turns out nice, but this is where I'm at, and yeah, I'll get it over to the paint shop here shortly. Hey guys, so I just got back from this crazy accidental road trip that I really did not plan or want. So just got back. The camper is gone. It's off to the paint shop. Unfortunately, I wasn't here for the guy to pick it up. Watch that ridiculous video. Just, oh my God. 6 hours of just crap that happened to me. But it is now officially in the paint shop. The guy has it and should be done the 5th or 6th, I believe. I can go pick it up. It's going to be white. And yeah, we'll see what it's like. The next video will probably be me picking it up. I do have a photo that he sent me as he picked it up that I'll throw in right now. Unfortunately, I didn't get a walk around with it all sanded. Just didn't have time thanks to that last little crappy road trip. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking through all this craziness. And hopefully this will end with a nice looking camper. We'll see.